welcome to Wellness with Purpose. At 43, a breast cancer diagnosis sent Kathy Karneth into the medical system that treated her body but missed her whole self. So she went looking for something better, ended up building it. She is the founder of Sangha Healing, a community which is connecting people to trusted holistic practitioner, and at 2025's Tempe Local Business Person of the Year. Kathy, welcome to Wellness with Purpose.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So let me start from the very beginning, from your journey. So you first found yoga as a teenager in your living room, and you were following along the Lilia's Yoga and You. So what was the younger version of you actually looking for?
I was like 13. I don't think I have to describe how we all feel as teenagers, right? We feel awkward and maybe not fitting in, etc. Like all the things you feel as a teenager. And a PBS, Lilia's Yoga and You, was on a PBS station at the time, and not sure how I found her. Less stations back then. Clearly, this was the 70s. So I found her, and I was a dancer as well since I was very young. So, I would always have leotards and things on. And Lilia's used to wear leotards before there were Lululemon, right before there were yoga clothes. She had on a blue leotard top, the pants, and she had this long hair that she used to braid. And she would practice hatha yoga. And so I would follow along for a half of an hour. And of course, we would end in Shavasana. And it was just, falling asleep basically on my on my floor, in my rug floor. And just, it made me feel refreshed. It made me feel like it doesn't matter what happened today in school or how I felt. And I didn't know why, right? I really didn't know the principles of yoga or any of the history, but I knew how it made me feel. And so I used to come home every day. Every day she was on, and I would practice yoga with Lilia's.
That is so beautiful. There is something about finding your sanctuary and most people even don't get there until the life forces them. So that was really beautiful. And of course, so I also talk about what I said in my opening, that when the cancer diagnosis came at 43, so what was the moment you realized that the conventional medicine wasn't going to give you everything you needed?
Yeah, that's a great question. Very honestly, I knew before I went into that cancer diagnosis. I had always explored from that early age other types of modalities. I don't think they were called that back then, but I was always searching for other things and always curious of what else is out there, exploration, etc. And so for me, when I got that diagnosis, it's very overwhelming, for one, and you get it from a conventional doctor. And so they're like, hey, this is your next step. Go here, meet this surgeon, meet this oncologist. So I did those things because really I didn't know where else to turn. So I'm always questioning any kind of doctor, any kind of practice. I don't just go, yep, I believe it, I got it, I'll do it. Always questioning why and what else is out there. So I did, of course, meet with all of those conventional doctors, but I started to go on the internet, and this is, almost 20, I'd say like 17 years ago. So there wasn't any kind of platform like I have today. There weren't practitioners that you knew you could trust. There wasn't like a place to go. So I just tried, kind of searched, right? I'm searching for things. What else is out there? What else can I do for myself? What kind of music can I listen to? I knew music was healing. I'm a big proponent of sound and frequency. So I knew that, and, learned that classical music was helpful if you do go into surgery and you can, have a headset or have the surgeons play it for you. So I learned kind of what I could. And then I reached out to my local community and said, what do you guys know about breast health and, how to take care of yourself during this journey? And I was already stressed out. You're stressed out when you get this diagnosis. But I found, again, what you're seeking is already seeking you. And I found a local institute, Southwest Healing Institute, and they offered a breast health class. And so I found a practitioner that knew how to do lymphatic massages. And she taught my husband how to do things with me, and, just other practices that I could do, doing castor packs, which is something I don't think we talk about enough. Yeah. So you know how incredibly powerful and healing they are, right? And so she taught me a lot of these tools and things to help me supplement. So it really was me reaching out and trying to find those people when I was already in that space of stress, super stress, right? So, that kind of sparked my thought as years went on. Wow, wouldn't it be great if people didn't have to go through that when they're already totally stressed out, to find trusted practitioners that can be part of their healing team, and in a complementary way. We're not always throwing out conventional medicine, but I knew that that wasn't that time going to be the answer for me for what my needs were.
And I feel that there is a gap being treated and being cared for. And I'm truly amazed to see, and I can feel that you have a self-awareness from the very beginning. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
And I was reading that you took a pilgrimage to India during the Kumbh Mela, and that is a very huge festival in North India. So what did you come home with that you didn't leave with?
Wow, that's a loaded question. It's interesting. When I was going through my cancer treatments and just recovering, I would go with my son to our local library and we would borrow CDs, or I think this was a VHS tape, maybe even way back when. And I found I think it was called Finding Nirvana or something. And it was about the Kumbh Mela. I had no idea. Most people, I think, in the US are very unfamiliar with that festival, even though it's the largest gathering of humans on the planet, right? And so I watched this video and I'm like, I'm going there. When's the next one? How do I find information? And so I actually ended up going with Himalayan Institute, which is, when I lived in Buffalo, they were that was my yoga studio, where I practiced. And they were doing a pilgrimage to the Kumbh Mela and had a space on the Ganges that wasn't far from there. And so I said, I think that's it. That's where I need to be. And for me, one of the reasons I wanted to go is that was my celebration of life, that I'm still here and that I got through all this. And it was my self-care for me. But what I went with was really, again, just wanting to experience something so massive and all of the things around it, right? Gurus and the ashrams and the yogis, etc. Like there was so much to it, right? It's not just one thread at the Kumbh Mela. And so what I came home with was, it's hard to describe honestly in words when you experience something like that. I mean, I was there on the most auspicious day when there was supposed to be, 60 million people. It's hard to, again, just to wrap your head around, right? But I met some incredible gurus and ashrams and the people that I was there with. And very honestly, there's some things that the guru said to me that I don't really share too freely, but those words that they provided to me and the advice they gave me, again, after meeting me for 20 minutes, right? The advice they gave me has shaped a lot of who I am today. It shaped how I came again to bring forth Sangha Healing. And those words are always there. And it was just such a beautiful experience. When I was there, honestly, kind of what I felt like is that it was pure love. It's very much a simple way to describe something super grandiose, but I just felt like it was pure love. Everyone there was in that mind frame of support and love and giving, and they were all here together and we're all one. And so it's kind of like you almost have to be there to feel it, but that's kind of what I felt. And it really was very transformational for me as well.
Wow, I love that. And you went looking for a healing and came back with a whole new way of seeing it. And I went to the Kumbh Mela when I was 7 or 8 years old. I still remember the memories in bits and pieces. And I could feel that you feel euphoric, being into this place. So the vibrations is really different. And your experience, the way you see that, it was pure love. And of course, I can feel that. So thank you for sharing that. My next question would be, you were talking about the Sangha that came to your mind. So the vision of Sangha was born around in your backyard during the COVID. So you were cut off from the practitioner. So was it a slow idea or it just hit you all once?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, when I was first diagnosed, I always thought, again, there was something different I could do to help people who are going through this. So again, there's a reason I went through it, right? We all are who we are, on our journey. So I knew that there was something else that I was destined for, but I didn't know exactly what it was. I was like, what does this look like? How do I help people? Is it just people, women with breast cancer? Is it broader? And so, I kind of went on my way, my corporate world, doing my consulting business, but something was there. And then over the years, these practitioners that became part of my health team. I didn't get rid of them. When you find a good practitioner, you hold on to them. don't let them go. When you find a good one, right? Because again, they're not all great, right? Just like any other profession. And so a lot of them became my friends. In fact, one of them, again, talking about kind of divine intervention, one of my very good friends I met in India at the Kumbh Mela, and I didn't know her. And she actually happened to live kind of down the street from me, a couple miles. And I met her in India. And she is a phenomenal practitioner. She's on my advisory council. It's Monica Brown. And so like her and a bunch of others became part of my team. And I was like, you guys have this incredible gift and I want more people to know about it because you've done such great things for me and the world should know. Like, you got to get out there. People need to know about you. And I kept hearing, yeah, that's great, but I don't do business. I don't do tech. Or those aren't my things. I do this. I'm like, I get it. That's your core competency, right? And I have all of this experience from business consulting. So I was kind of like, okay, what is this? What is this? Right? It started to percolate. And then, but really COVID, I mean, the idea came to me when like, I couldn't, we could talk to our practitioners, but like, we weren't allowed to like, touch them or see them. Yeah. Which was to me, the opposite of what I thought we should be doing to help heal people who needed that support. And so that's when it just kind of was like, nope, this is wrong. This is what I think we have to do. And really, I think the solidification and the vision came at that time. This like, we got to do this. We need to bring practitioners together. We need to help them on their business journey. We need to get them out there, broader audiences, and people need this more than ever. So I think that's really where it kind of came and solidified a bit and said, let's do it. This is what we need to do.
So the COVID that took your community is the exact thing that made you build a bigger community.
Yeah.
That's not the loss on me. Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about your work. For someone who has never heard of Sangha Healings, how do you are going to explain what is actually is in one breath?
Yeah. I mean, really, it's a trusted community for holistic solutions, right? And we have a few different ideal clients. Clearly, as I mentioned, one of my goals was really to support practitioners. So we do that through, business resources. We have coaching for them. We provide them training, whatever they need to kind of help them get the foundation of their business. And if they're already started their business, ways that they can grow them, helping them with marketing plans, understanding who their ideal clients are and where they can find them. So those kinds of things we do for our practitioners. The other thing that I think is really important, as I alluded to, is elevating their credibility in the health industry. So, unfortunately today, just like any industry, there's a lot of people out there who go, oh, holistic, I can make money at it. And they throw that word around, right? It's unfortunate, but it's out there. So how do you, as a wellness seeker, kind of navigate who's real and who's not, who's out there to just make money and who's out there really to guide you on your healing journey and be prosperous and abundant at the same time. So one of the things that we do that is very different than other platforms out there is we do vet all of our practitioners. So they go through things like background checks. They meet, of course, me, maybe someone else on the Sangha or the advisory council. Do they kind of fit in with our community? Are they on the path of growing together? We really feel that we do it together and we're stronger. And again, we can reach more. Yeah. And we make sure that they do a sample modality with us so we can, again, see their professionalism. How do they interact with a potential client? Are they respecting their space or touch or, whatever that is, right? And then they also must hold insurance to be part of our platform. So what we're trying to portray here is practitioners are professionals. That's why we call them professional healing practitioners. So if you want to have a business, you need to, act like a business. So those are the things we're doing. We're helping them grow their business. We're elevating their credibility. And then we're bringing them in with what I feel is the cream of the crop of practitioners. And, we work together. We do master mindful sessions together. They co-create. So we started not long ago a caregiver wellness group because some of our practitioners, those are their ideal clients. And they're like, we want to get together and figure out a way that we can put some programs together for caregivers and offer it. So love that. Love that we're co-creating and, again, creating ways that we can support people in new ways that they may not have thought about before. So that's kind of really our practitioner side. And then, for wellness seekers, again, we're connecting them with our practitioners. They can go out to our directory and see all of the information about them. We help our practitioners also create a very engaging written profile and bio. They offer their services there. Many of them have free meditations as well that you can get on our calendar so people can get a little taste, right, of what it's like to work with some of the practitioners. We have educational series, wellness quizzes. We're always really, again, trying to introduce, right, it's one of our missions, healing possibilities and awareness to the community. Right? We're not trying to convert people who don't believe, but if you're seeking, we have lots of data and information, blogs, et cetera, that can help you learn about tools and modalities that you may not have been aware of. And I'm learning every day. There's so much out there. It's just kind of blows my mind is how much is out there.
It's always a learning curve, of course, and every business has their own learning curve. And I am glad that you brought that up, because my next question is the same, that when somebody is stressed and stuck and unwell, but they don't know which kind of a practitioner they need. So how does Sangha meet them where they are?
Yeah. So I would say again, start on our directory, and you can do searches based on your wellness needs, your health goals. Right? So, say you need to, improve sleep, but you don't know anything about modalities. You don't know anything about Ayurvedic or, EFT or all the different ways that can help that. You can search on that and it'll bring up a list of the practitioners that can help you with that health challenge, right? And then from there, again, you can check out their bio. They have little videos. Most of them have free consultations, so you can, get to know them and see if you're aligned. I think that's always really one of, I don't want to say the easiest ways, but one of the best ways to understand if you want to work with someone, right? Do you feel aligned? Does it feel right? And you may need to meet them one-on-one to figure that out, or figure out if you like a modality. I like to use my son as an example. He was having some issues and I said, you should just go to an acupuncturist for that issue because it'll work. Don't like needles. Okay, great. So maybe it's Jinshin Shitsu, or it's something else we can do with your meridians. So if you don't like needles, you can try something else. Right? So I think there's many paths to healing that you need. And I think what's important for wellness seekers to know too, right, that if you do have a pain in your lower back, it might be caused by stress, or necessarily just a back pain. It could be caused. So a lot of our practitioners will help you release whatever blockages that you don't know are there. And that's what they're here for, is helping to guide you to get rid of those things.
Yeah. And that part matters, because you're just not a directory. You are a guide.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was reading about you that you came out of a Fortune 100 business and HR consulting. So how does that very corporate background shapes the way you are running a healing community?
Yeah, that's a great question too. Yeah, again, I've been doing that for many decades. So I do use a lot my skills there. I have a large background as well, kind of in the HR space. And so elevating the credibility by doing background checks, right? I set that up with an organization. I did, an evaluation of what was out there. What do I need, et cetera. A good example is we also check people's licenses or certifications, which isn't always easy in the holistic space because they're not universities. So things I learned there is that, these background check companies don't check unless they are a university or college. So, okay, great. Those are things that I might have to do, on my own. So just kind of having that background kind of helped, right? Put these systems in place as well. And then clearly how I support and coach our practitioners with growing their business and giving them tools like figuring out who our ideal client is, putting questionnaires together, putting sample marketing plans, all of that stuff, right, as a consultant I have done for many years for clients. So definitely it really made a big difference, I think, in how I am looking at my business, how we're looking at growing it, how we're putting wellness programs together now to go out to smaller organizations and using my, consulting flair to bring that to, HR leaders.
Wow. That's an unfair advantage. You speak both the language, the spreadsheet and the soul.
There you go. It's powerful. Yeah.
So my next question would be, since you were talking about the holistic, so what's the number one thing that people get wrong about holistic and complementary medicine?
Yeah. That's a good one. I don't know if it's just one thing, but I think sometimes people are, again, worried that it's like woo-woo, right? I don't like that word per se, but it's it's out there. It's not not real. It's not tangible. Again, an MD has all these certifications and licensing, so they must be good. That doesn't mean they're good just because they've gone to school and got a stamp, right? So I think that's part of it. I think the hard thing, which again, we really help our practitioners do, is try to put the benefits of what you do into a tangible way. So people need things that are tangible. So it's like you go to a conventional doctor and they have a stethoscope and, oh, I can hear your heart beating, or it's beating too much or too slow, right? It's something tangible. And then when you go to an energy healer, it's like, well, what is this person doing? Well, I lay on a massage table. I think for people who aren't in that space, it's understanding, again, is this stuff going to work? And that's why, it's really important our practitioners get results and that we do vet them, because again, they're not all treated equal. And so, yeah, I think people, again, need to find what, again, resonates with them. That's why we have a lot of education as well on our site. So, kind of explore and see what may resonate with you, and then come to one of our free sessions and, try something out or meet with a practitioner. But I think it's that fear of not knowing. And also, I think holistic has gotten a lot of, bad press, different press, unrealistic press, right? So yeah, I think that's part of it. It's just really, again, if you're open, you need to be open. You're open, you're frustrated with conventional medicine, or you want to try something new, go for it. I'm always trying new things to see what resonates with me. And some things do, some things don't. Sound and chakra toning are one of my favorite things to do. So I do that all the time. And other people are like, I can't use my voice. I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, don't do it. Try. It's okay. We're not here to make you feel uncomfortable. You can't really heal unless you feel comfortable and you're open.
I love that you said that try new things and be open. And the one thing is you need to be ready.
Absolutely. Great point.
So now we are pivoting to the challenges as a business owner. So what's the single hardest part of building a two-sided community? You are serving both the seekers and the practitioners at the same time.
Yeah, that alone has really been a challenge. Absolutely. Because I have two avatars or two ideal clients and marketing to them differently. And when you start out, it's like, I need practitioners first. So I can't have wellness seekers if I don't have practitioners, and I can't have practitioners. I don't. So yeah, I mean, that absolutely was a challenge. I will say we did, with the vision that I had, we did take our first year and worked with some companies to do research and say, is this needed out there? Do practitioners really need support? Which I kind of knew they did from my own little circle. But is this valuable for people? Would they join our Sangha? And then, wellness seekers, interviewed people who believed in, complementary alternative, other people who kind of new to them and said, what do you think? And they were like, yeah, we want it. Like, we need it. Like, there is something missing out there, and I'm frustrated with conventional medicine, or I'm not getting what I need there, or I just want, again, more. I want more, and I want more control over my own health journey. So we did that. And that really, I think, helped solidify that this is something that's a valid need out there. And then from there, just started building it. I mean, there's been many challenges along the way. I've had 2 websites in 2 years. Not my goal. You finding good vendors that can support you and building it, that's difficult. Yeah. I mean, they're just like all the things, right? Social media. I was never on social media until I started my business purposely. So that is a really, interesting thing. But yeah, so I think there's just so many different challenges, even though I was an independent consultant for many years. And so I knew how to build, LLCs and S Corps and all that. There's all those other things that when you consult with big organizations, they have branding departments, they have marketing departments, they have people that you go, hey, can you do this for this project? Now you got to do it all, right? So it's very different than working for these other organizations. So you learn a lot. And that's what I like about our Sangha, is that every time we learn something, we all pass it on to each other. And like, oh, I got a great tip here. We use Alignable a lot. I got a good tip here, there. This is what you can do to make the most of it. So I share freely.
That's a lot of plates spinning, and you are the one keeping them all in the air.
Yeah, for sure.
So what have you tried to grow Sangha that just didn't work the way you hoped?
Yeah, I I mean, I'll say that I've shifted this year to more local events and things like that. We still do online events. Like June 2nd, we did a full online event, which was very successful. We did it last year. But I think doubling down on doing things more locally, honestly, working with like, Alzheimer's associations and, local first organization, networking groups, etc. We do have practitioners all over North America, and that is the goal, to be global. But some, I live in the Phoenix area, which is a pretty big population. And so just kind of working with some of those local institutes as well and things like that, and kind of getting in there. I feel people, especially in the holistic space, are doing less online, if that's the way they want to go, and trying to do more, again, in community. And so I'd say honestly, like the social media really doesn't, for me, work to grow the business. Things like Alignable has been very successful for me. I get practitioners, I get wellness seekers there, made some really good contacts and have partnerships with some affiliate health organizations here. So I think the important thing is you measure what works and you do more of those. The things that work, the things that don't work. I was doing cold emails for a while to different organizations, didn't work, right? So you don't do it. So it's kind of like I said, people, we got, it's a dartboard, right? It's different for all of us. Every practitioner has a different ideal client and where they are, how to market to them. I said, you just got to try some things. Throw a dart at the dartboard, measure it, try it for a couple weeks. If it doesn't work, move on, right?
No, I really appreciate you being honest about that, because everyone shows the highlight reel and nobody shows the part that didn't work. So thank you for that. So on this section, I also want you to talk about like what eats up most of Kathy's time day to day. That the stuff that pulls you away from the mission that you actually started this for.
What takes me away from my mission? Is that the question? Okay.
What eats up most of your time? Like just talk about the day.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it depends on, I work, like I said, I work with my practitioners and coach them as well. So, if I'm working with them, a lot of it is planning ahead of time, again, reviewing information that they send me so that I can put together, plans and avatars and things like that. So I do a lot of that stuff behind the scene. And then I do a lot of networking. So I do, face-to-face networking. Thursday nights seem to be the networking night. So I'm usually never home on Thursday nights, but I do, a lot of smart connects and things as well that are virtual. And again, learning what are those good groups, because there's a lot of really good like health and wellness groups or holistic groups. Mm-hmm. So kind of always kind of searching for something new there. And then, what else can I do to support my practitioners? What are topics that they want to hear about in Master Mindful session? Who else can I pull in? So I'm always working with others. Like we're doing one on finances coming up this Friday, and your relationship with your finances and money. And so always kind of looking for those kind of ways. So supporting the practitioners, how can we reach out to more wellness seekers? And then always looking for new opportunities.
Wonderful. And I feel that none of that is why you went to India for a Kumbh Mela. No.
Yeah, I love that you went to the Kumbh Mela too. It's not many people really get it or know it. All you got to have to say is you went there and you get it, right?
So Kathy, like a year from now, what does success actually look like to you?
What does success look like for me? Is that what you? Okay. Yeah, honestly, again, we're always pivoting and growing. In the next year, one of our big goals is to really be working with smaller organizations, in particular those ones that have caregivers, and providing them with wellness programs. So we have worked with some locally here, and the response has been really incredible. They want more of it. We're providing self-care techniques for caregivers that they can do quickly. When you're a caregiver, you're never off. You always got to make sure that the person you're caring for is safe, right? And so very high stress. I give them a lot of credit. It's not something I could do. And so what are little techniques and things that they can bring into their day at work and at home to de-stress them? And how can they also incorporate that into their work with the people that they're caring for? So we're bringing these kind of self-care techniques as well to caregiver organizations, and also just wellness programs in general to small orgs. So for me, it's really having that expand and giving more opportunity to our practitioners that want to be part of that.
That's a clarity. So let's talk about AI. And you know that this one is coming. Where are you right now with AI in actually running Sangha day to day?
Yeah, it's a good one. I I don't use ChatGPT. I purchased another tool that I use. And I use it. I use it a lot. So for me, like even in my professional career, I always had to write. Communication was big, but it's one of those things I don't like to do. And it takes me longer. Like I'm always summarizing and I don't like this word. And so I use AI a lot too. I don't have it write things for me. I don't have it like write something. I don't say like, go write this for me because I don't like that. I don't feel it's authentic. So I will write something and say, clean up this paragraph or, make it sound whatever, more like me or more like Sangha, add this flavor. So I use AI for that to help with my own marketing clearly. And then I also use it to help me write alt text. So one of the other things that is really important for us is that, as much as we can and is feasible, we try to make all of our offerings accessible. Right? So whenever we record like a session and we put it out on our YouTube channel, we go back and make sure all the closed captions are correct because none of the tools that are out there do a good job like when you first record. So going back in, sometimes I'll have, AI, I'll just say, go in and clean up, like, get rid of all the ums or the uhs, or so sometimes clean up things like that. Yeah. And then also to kind of support what I do with my practitioners and coaching. So helping create that ideal client and help create a sample, marketing plan or content plan. So I do use AI quite a bit. As you know, I'm always changing those prompts, making them better to try to have it understand what I want. Cause it's really funny when you think you're clear and you get something back from AI and I'm like, what were you thinking? Right. So it's kind of a never ending thing with AI, but yeah, I feel it's powerful and I do use it, but I don't use it in place of my authenticity. I don't feel that. Blog, same thing. I write a blog and I'm like, make it cleaner, right? Fix my grammar, things like that.
And that's honest. And I hear a lot. And honestly, it is the right instinct. So your work is human and nobody wants a chatbot holding a space for them. So I completely hear that. And the connection you create is the whole point. And that part is going to stay with you. What I feel is that what AI is good at, the stuff around, think of it as scheduling, follow-up, the reminders, the social post, or maybe the 5 questions that your client asks daily, or maybe in a week's time, something like that. So the work that drains you or pulls you away from the work.
Yeah.
And what I feel that what it has helped me is to get more time and energy and the part that I'm doing right now.
Yeah, for sure. I love it.
Yeah. So, okay. So my next question would be, I asked to all my guests is, if I handed you 5 to 10 hours a week, like tomorrow, no strings, what's the first thing you would pour your energy into?
I had someone else doing the things I didn't want to do. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Yeah. Again, I would focus on the bigger ticket items like the wellness programs and putting those together and working with the practitioners to put packages together and videos and write all the things that we want to do is very time consuming, and how to market it to our, again, smaller companies, things like that, and getting in touch with the right people. So kind of all the things around that strategy for sure is what I'd be working on.
That kind of answer, it matters. It shows that what actually matters to you.
Yeah, for sure.
This is my last section. And I just wanted to ask you what's next for Sangha Healing, and how can people who are listening actually support what you are building?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, for us, it's again, just really growing our community. I feel I'm very blessed that we have the community we have. Everyone that is part of our Sangha is very engaged. And that is something we ask as well. When we meet them, we ask for their commitment to be part of a Sangha and be active. Because again, if they're not active, it's not going to grow. We can just be another directory out there, which is not what our goal is, where you're a name on a page with hundreds of other names and it means nothing. You get nothing out of it. They get nothing out of it. So really being engaged, having more practitioners join us that believe in that and really want to grow their business. So yeah, we have 3 different packages for people. So folks that are, new to becoming a practitioner and don't want to spend the money to create a website, you have a web page and a profile with us that you can share freely that has all your services. And again, has that, special care that we had to put together with your profile. So yeah, just sharing with people and practitioners that want to be part of our Sangha. And then everyone, I believe, is a wellness wellness seeker. We all, again, if we care about ourselves and have self-care, should be looking for new, different ways that we can, again, align with. So, sending people out to our website to check out our blogs, to take our wellness quizzes, to come to our free educational series, connect with our practitioners. But I think everyone should be, learning and growing more, always. And so, sharing freely what we have to offer to our wellness seekers.
Beautiful. So guys, you heard it. Go be a part of Sangha. And Kathy, you couldn't find the door to the healing you needed. So what you did, you built one for everyone and walking in behind you. This is the whole show there. And if this one moved you, send it to someone who's stuck Googling for help right now. You can find Kathy and her practitioner at sanghahealing.com. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. This is wonderful. Have a beautiful day.